Hello, and thank you for joining me with Remedies and Realities. This is episode 4. I'm your host, Angie Blake. I am here today with Chris Perkins, and Chris has been going back and forth to help with the Kerrville incident. Now, some of you may know that I'm local to Kerrville. I live in Texas, and Kerrville is not very far from me. And so when this flooding happened, it was like it was in my back door. And the same with Chris, and he has been going to help. And so I wanted to bring him on and let him give you his experience and tell you what's been going on over there as boots on the ground, and then tell you how you can help if you would like to help with this also. And I wanted to give you a brief little outline of when things started to happen. So this has been going on for about 3 weeks now, and it started the weekend of 4th of July. And the Texas Division of Emergency Management, which is TDEM, they announced a threat of flooding on Wednesday, July 2nd. And they announced that heavy showers were developing, and that's how it all started. And then it goes into Thursday, July 3rd, and they announced again that there was chances of flooding. And then they went on and issued a flood watch, and that eventually turned into a flood warning. And when a flood warning is issued, that means that flooding is imminent or it has already happened. And so from there, between the hours of 4 and 6 a.m. on Friday, July 4th, the Guadalupe surged with water levels rising over 30 feet. And it has resulted in a large body count. And I would like to go to Chris. And Chris, thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate taking time to talk to us about this and educate us on the subject. And I
Yes.
would like to ask you, when this happened, what were your thoughts and what made you decide that you have to get there and help?
Well, one thing is I have family that's there. I was thankful that they are far enough away from the river that they weren't affected, but they have, huge ties to the community through their churches and things like that, and along with our church. But for me, I had a compelling, nag to get down there because I lived in Austin for several years, and Wimberley, which is where my ex-wife and her family are from, has flooded. And during that time, we saw some of the worst of the worst of the same situation that just happened here recently. And I know and I felt what those families went through and what they felt when they lost all those people. And it just pulled me to get down there and help out and see what I can do to try to, take my resources and bring them down there to those people.
So when was the first time that you went there after the flood?
I went on that Sunday, which let me look back what day was that.
Be the 6th.
That was the 6th. That was the first day that I could actually get down there. So I went and dropped off my boys to my ex-wife and just took our tractors and our trailers down there and just went and did whatever I could to help out. I didn't have a plan at first, once we got there. But with the tools and items that we had and chainsaws, me and my cousin, we just ran down there and just jumped in the best places that we could. A lot of the stuff that we had was very useful. I brought four-wheelers, I brought excavator, skid steer, things like that to try to help out, and it was very useful for doing search and rescue. There's tons of piles of trees that were up there, and we just used the chainsaws and the materials that we had and the equipment that we had to try to pull those trees apart. And that's where we would find a lot of the devastation.
Oh, wow. And have you done this kind of work before?
Yeah, so I'm actually part of a Minuteman disaster. And so I've gone out and done several deploys like this in the past. A lot of times we get out there and we're coming in after the disaster has happened, a couple weeks, and we just kind of help with tear out of homes and things like that, and just kind of help try to get people's lives pieced back together the best way we can, and give support, where we can. And this time I decided to just go off on my own just because it was too close for home. And, it takes us a little while to deploy with the Minuteman disaster. And this time, there's a lot of people that were missing and we needed to find them because I can imagine having kids. It really hits home. It was really hard finding some of the stuff that we found, and I couldn't imagine, what it'd be like to not be able to find my child. And each time that we found something, to me, it was just an opportunity for me to give that family a relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Give them some kind of closure, even if it's bad closure. Wow.
Yes.
So, it, let's see. I saw some body that we're down to, I think, um, the body count has continually gone up. And now the latest numbers that I'm seeing is that only two are remaining missing, but we've got 135 who perished in the flood. Do you have
Yeah.
different information than that?
I don't have a different information, but there's other things that my cousin was talking about was that there's a lot of homeless that they have in their community too. A lot of those people don't have family that are looking for them, and a lot of times they hang out underneath the bridges. So
Yeah.
there's things that like that may or may not be counted in this situation. Some of these bodies from what I've seen from the stuff in the past that happened at Wimberley, there's a possibility that they may have never be found because the sediment that was out there was so much sediment and so much just mulch and stuff that had been brought up to the surfaces and then slammed back down on top of other stuff. I mean, it actually buried an entire car. We didn't see it. We passed through this specific area. I passed through it once the day before, and we didn't see the car. And we could have walked right over the top of it and never seen it. And then the next day, once the water subsided a little bit, we saw a tire sticking out of the ground. And it was just barely a piece of that tire. Come to find out, it was a 425 or F250. So it was a huge truck. I mean,
Wow.
if you can bury a truck that big and we don't see it, you can imagine that there's going to be things that are never going to be found. That river, it's some of the stuff that I've never seen in my entire life. Just the force of the water. I mean, what it did to the trees, what it did to homes. I mean, it just demolished them. There was just nothing left.
It is really hard for me to wrap my head around the way Mother Nature in general, with things like this. It's crazy. But you said your family is safe, so that's good.
Yeah.
And so I know there are a lot of people out there who want to help, but they're not really sure how to help. What would your suggestion be as the best way to contribute?
I have some forums and some Facebook sites that my cousin has referred me to. There's a lot of people that are posting on there that are saying, "Hey, listen, I don't have insurance on my home, and we've lost everything, or it's flooded, and we're trying to get stuff ripped out before it molds." There's a lot of people that have come down in the very beginning to help out, and there was a huge rush of people. But a lot of that stuff, subsides, and people just tend to forget about it. And there's plenty of things that there can still be done. There's so many things that can still be done. Some of the list on as far as construction and help, with hands-on types of things. A lot of the people's properties out there were just demolished. There's trees absolutely everywhere. some of those people are going to have skid steers and excavators to help them clear their land back out. So if you have heavy equipment, things like that, that you're capable of just coming down for the weekend and maybe just donating your time to local people, there's going to be a form, and I'll find it and send it over to you.
Okay.
But a lot of those people are going to need help with stuff like that because insurance is not necessarily going to pay for it because having flood insurance
Yep.
is expensive.
Yes.
And on top of that, being so close to the river, some of them can't get it.
Yep. Yes.
So, there's a lot of loss that people have there that are going to be in need to kind of help build that stuff back up. Other than that, as far as donation goes, they are in big need of pillows and sheets and blankets and things like that you wouldn't expect. Everything has to be brand new, obviously. They are looking for clothing and stuff like that, but there's a lot of items like hygiene products and things like that that are needed
Right.
still as well. So, those are probably, if you think about some of the home essentials that you need to just kind of live your life day in and day out, those are things that are needed.
Okay. Do you have a specific place where people should send them, or I can look that up and put it down there at the end?
Yeah, so actually, my brother, his wife, she's got a several lists, and we have a donation site that we've been accepting donations also as well.
Great. Oh,
We've
perfect.
raised about $5,500 so far,
Okay.
and we're gonna try to see if we can't help a family. We're trying to get to 12,000. If we can, what we're going to try to do is we're probably going to get out there and go and focus on one family that's in need and try to focus on just working with them.
Yeah.
If you take a small amount like that and try to spread it around, it doesn't help as much. But if you take that one lump sum and go directly to one person and try to help their life, a lot of times you can make a better impact that way. So
Yeah.
that's what we're going to try to accomplish in the next couple of weeks, and I'll send you that donation site as well. But that's the plans that we have for that. And we did one trip this past weekend and did a lot of deliveries for the donations, but I think we're trying to collect more currently right now. We're up in Dallas, so getting down there and back and forth is, it's kind of a hike. It's about 5 hours or so, but what we're gonna probably do is we'll do another truckload here in a couple weeks and drop off more items. But I do have a list of different donation spots. I do see that some places say that they're not taking donations anymore, and a lot of the time is that they're sending water, like truckloads of water, and nobody really needed the water that much there. There was a boil ban in effect, but the water, it was useful in the beginning, but they were giving cases of that stuff away. They didn't want it. They didn't know what to do with it.
Yes.
So it was other items that people weren't even thinking about, like the pillows and the
Yes.
socks and the things like that that could be used. Shoes, if there's shoes, you never know. Because I
Yes.
was finding shoes absolutely everywhere along the creek beds. I mean, it ripped the houses apart so much that there was just stuff scattered everywhere. I picked a picture out of a tree of his family that was just hanging in the tops of this tree, and there was just a photo of their family, and it's kind of devastating to see stuff like that when you're out there and there's just so much destruction.
Absolutely. How old are your own sons?
My boys are 8 and 11.
Okay. I can imagine how this would hit home for you.
Yes, it really did because we dropped my son off at church camp on Sunday of last week. And so my ex-wife was just really having a hard time with it, and I understandably, and
Yeah.
I shared some things with her. We're really close family, and shared some things with her, and she just, it was really tough to leave our son, especially when we don't really get to have any communication with him for the entire week.
Yes.
So what she did is she had lots of questions that she asked, and it helped ease her mind. But we picked our son back up, and he got baptized that week while he was there too. So
Praise the Lord.
I don't
That's so
know.
awesome.
Yeah, so there was a lot of good that happened in his life that week. So it was definitely a great week, and we're glad that we dropped him off out there. So It was
She sounds
awesome.
like a good mom, and you sound like a good dad, man, and a
And
great person. Just a genuine, good-hearted person to go donate your time and your energy and your effort and your money to help with this horrible crisis. And here we are almost a month out, and it's like people are forgetting,
yeah,
out of
absolutely.
mind, out of sight, out of mind, and we can't let that happen. There is still a lot of devastation going on. They still need our help. They need things. They need us. And so we can't forget about them. Let's donate to the link that Chris is going to send me. If you can donate your time, if you have large equipment where you can go down for the weekend and help dig some stuff out, help to put people's lives back together, it makes a huge difference. Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Chris, for everything that
absolutely.
you've been doing. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to say to wrap things up?
No, I mean, just if you have the opportunity to get out there and just, just help wherever you can. If you don't have to have a lot of experience in construction to go out there and help, pull sheetrock out of houses or just pull crap, out. Just there's just so much stuff that's in there that, you can go help, just clean out people's homes and things like that that is needed. Because the longer they wait, the worse that their house is going to deteriorate.
Yes, yes,
So,
absolutely. Wow, wow. Well, thank you again for coming on, and thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your photos and the link and your time and your effort. And I hope that all of you out there just feel a tug on your heart. I hope that God speaks to you, and let's just all band together and make a difference for these people. Thank you.
thank you.